Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to KHM Today, your weekly resource for industry news and straight up fun. I'm your host, Carolyn Orff, and today is April 24th, 2024, and you will probably notice that we have yet another new look. It's not a new look. We've gone back to the old look. For about 3 weeks, we were testing out another system behind the scenes, and at the end of the day, the system just did not like me or my internet. So we've switched back for the time being. So please make sure that you're telling us you're here in that public chat. We'd love to hear from you. We missed you all last week, but we had a fabulous time with about 30 KHM agents at our home office in Brunswick, Ohio, where we hosted Boot Camp 2.0. It was a fabulous week. We had a lot of fun. We laughed. We learned a lot. And it was just a really great week for everyone. So thanks everyone who joined us, but we're excited to be back here with all of you today. I'm very excited to welcome two guests today. One that hasn't been on ever before, and another who has been on, but not for a while. So we're excited to have them here today. So guys, again, let us know that you are here. We can chat with you. We can answer your questions. We'd love to know that you're on with us live today. But without further ado, please welcome Carmen Roig, Vice President of Sales with Princess Cruise Line. Welcome, Carmen.
Thank you so much, Carolyn, for having me in the KHM family. I'm so happy. First time here. Happy to be here.
First
Very
time here,
excited
and
about
you have
this.
probably one of the best backgrounds we've ever had. It's absolutely beautiful.
It's been quite a career, I must tell you. I've only been with Prince. I love the fact that I've only been with Princess 2 years, right, since 22. But I've been in the business 43 years. I know. I'm gonna have to stop saying that, but it's the absolute truth. And I started as a freshman in high school. Actually, I live in Miami, so I started Port Miami as an embarkation hostess on weekends, and that was as a result, Carolyn, of the Love Boat. Believe it or not, I used to watch it every Saturday night at 8 o'clock. If you remember those good old days. Um,
Absolutely.
and that was really what got me into thinking, oh, we're in kind of like Port Miami. There's ships there. So it was a great weekend job. Did it through high school, then through college, university, and then stayed on, which was ironic because that's not what I studied. But my mentor was Bob Dickinson. So if anybody's been around,
Mhm.
he is, my goodness, he is like the grandfather of cruising, pretty much. What a sales and marketing guy. So he was my mentor, and he said, "Why would you go and do what you studied when we're in the happiness business, which is cruising? If you invested 7.5 years, let's just go do sales." I'm like, sales and marketing? I know nothing about sales and marketing. Well, here we are. Fast forward.
Here we are.
Yep, super happy.
Many years later.
Oh yeah.
Well, we want to start off today. We always like to do something really fun with guests that have never been on before. So, are you up for a little round of rapid fire questions?
Oh my God, absolutely, and not scripted. But I have no filter, so you might. Do we have a way to mute me just in case? No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. It's kind of like TV,
Sam,
a
be on
three
the
second
lookout.
pause. Three
Yep.
second pause, Sam. You never know.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
What is your go-to lazy dinner?
Pizza,
What is your favorite thing to do in the summertime?
beach, and boating.
What is your hidden talent?
I wish I had one. I don't think I have a hidden talent. How about silence? That would be a beautiful talent if I had it. Don't have any hidden talents, trust me.
What was the last craft you made?
Oh, I'm not crafty at all. If I don't
I
buy it
know.
over the counter, I think maybe I used to sew, maybe, I don't remember, or knit like when I was in elementary school. And trust
Oh
me,
my
I'm
gosh.
sure I failed the class for
What
sure.
movie do you enjoy quoting the most?
Ah, Dead Poet Society. So that's my mantra. Actually, I'm wearing it. Carpe diem. So if you've
Oh,
ever seen
wow.
that Dead Poet Society with Robin Williams, that is probably the movie. It's not my favorite movie. It pretty much number two, but that's the one I quote the most with the seize the day. It's just part of my mantra. I should
Hmm.
get it tattooed, kind of like Adolfo
Yeah.
has. I love travel agents. I should just put seize the day, carpe diem. It's all good.
I think that might work better. What never fails to make you laugh?
I think my children never fails
Mine
to
too.
make me laugh, but also Lucille Ball, quite frankly.
Okay. And what is one of your nicknames?
Miranda. Eesh. I don't know if I want to admit that today.
Why?
So today's
So today's
national, what is
National
it? Professional Administration Day,
Administrative
whatever.
Professionals Day.
Administrative professional, right? Day. Okay, that's phenomenal. So my executive assistant, who's been with me quite some time because he's a glutton for punishment, so he followed me here from another company, calls me Miranda. If you've ever seen The Devil Wears Prada, that's all. I
Oh,
have those Miranda moments, and I call him Emily Andy, and he cracks me up. So he used to like. It was like a secret name, and now it's like my go-to. Who am I today? Am I Miranda? Because we got to get things done. I don't have time. Let's go. So it's a
at
great
least
movie,
you
by the way.
embrace it. You
I
embrace it. That's a
do.
good
There's a lot of work to be done, and that's all. Love Glenn Close
Well,
to
that's
better.
wonderful.
She was wonderful.
Well, we're so glad that you're here, and I have so many questions for you. Princess was actually my very first cruise line that I ever sailed. I'd never been on a cruise before. It was the Royal Princess. It was a brand new ship back then, and I sailed over spring break. Um, my first year of marriage. It was I was teaching, and we went on a cruise for spring break when I was teaching, and I was so excited. I think I packed for 3 weeks. And oddly enough, I specifically remember flying in the day of, which we would never ever do nowadays. But I remember
Absolutely not.
flying in the day of and taking the princess transfer over to the ship, getting on the ship probably like by 2:30, 3 o'clock,
Cutting
and
it
wondering
short.
why everyone was already having so much fun. I'm like, well, what time did they get here? So I've learned a lot since that time frame. But when I think of Princess, of course, I think of that first cruise, but I think tried and true, dependable, like words that just make me feel really comfortable selling it to a client. Um, with that said, there's so much going on that it's almost like when I started doing a little research, there's a lot that's not, I don't think it's changing at the core, but I'm seeing some like sparks from
Absolutely.
ships and things like that. So, can you share a little bit about what we're seeing with the Sun Princess, the Star Princess, and what I believe are being termed kind of these extraordinary experiences?
Absolutely. And what a great segue. By the way, your story, first time cruising on Princess, is not new to me. I've been
Yeah.
here 2 years, and it's funny because I mentioned I spent 30 years at Carnival Corp, started with that Carnival brand as they started buying all the others, Holland America, and so on and so on. And Princess was one of those acquisitions. But out of all of those brands, the only one, by the way, the one that got me into business, the Love Boat, was the only brand that I had not represented in sales or marketing, had not cruised, and knew nothing about it until I got here. So it was pretty unique. To me, it's like I've come
Yeah.
full circle, right? But
Mhm.
that's not. It's very common. I hear that all the time because when you
Mhm.
think of the Love Boat and what it did for cruising, I mean, it raised cruising into really a mainstream experience. Mind you, when it was airing, staterooms weren't that big, right? Pretty funny. And we'd always find
Yes.
love every week, you know what I mean? And Gopher's great, and and so on and so forth. And Ted Lang with his bartending, I think it's awesome. But it really put cruising on the map. Now, here's the thing, because when I joined 2 years ago, I had lots of questions, and the reality is, the Princess brand is just it's just a loved brand. It really is. People love it because they have that great feeling. So when we're looking for a new brand campaign, why do we need a new positioning? We've got
Mhm.
the best positioning in the business. We're the love boat, right? And by the way, we sell boat rides. That's what I say. And it never helps my other colleagues. So they're like, we're in cruising and they're called ships. Well, not here. We're very, very simple people at Princess.
Yeah.
Everybody calls it a boat. We want first time, new to cruise, you name it. And for us, it was kind of reinventing ourselves, but not. It's just taking the same DNA and essence of our brand and making it contemporary, make it
Mhm.
fresh to apply to today's market. And one of the things that's most exciting with regards to that specific positioning with the Love Boat is that it's love of everything. It's not just love in the romantic sense, but
Mhm.
love of culinary, love of entertainment, love of family. You could be a solo person. You could be celebrating because we have celebration groups. You could be celebrating an anniversary. You could just be on a multi-gen family reunion. So we have really broadened and expanded what our demographics are and who we're actually attracting to the brand. You mentioned Sun Princess, and the timing on this couldn't be better because we named her yesterday. So her naming ceremony was in Barcelona, and
Oh,
if you got a chance to tune in live, it was really exciting. If you ever seen Ted Lasso, so Hannah Maddington was the
hmm
godmother of the ship. I absolutely love her. She's a force to be reckoned with, and she was our godmother. And we named her the Sun Princess in Barcelona, but this is a new class of ship for Princess. It's called the
hmm
Sphere class. Besides being LNG, and it's the largest ship the Fincantieri shipyards has ever built, Carolyn, it is also a new class of ship. But the beauty of Princess is what our guests love, and they love the essence of same things. They want to feel like they're coming home. So we still have a
hmm
piazza. We're just taking that piazza, which is the heartbeat of the brand and of the ship, to a whole new level, 3 levels.
hmm
We're doing aerial. We're doing more than 30 dining venues, which is incredible. And we had Romero Brito there yesterday. We actually interviewed him because, Romero's an artist from Brazil, and you've probably seen his whimsical art is gorgeous. I have one here, cha-ching. But Romero loves love. I mean, so we announced him in December in Art Basel, Miami, and he created a restaurant called Love on Board. How appropriate. And it's all of his amazing decor. And then we got Mario the Butcher. And so we just got our regular crown grills, all the things that people love, Alfredos.
hmm
But we just took the ship to the next level. And from an entertainment perspective, you have the theater in the round, which is the Princess Theater. So
hmm
now you've got acrobatic performances. And then when you've got the dome, I mean, this ship is created so that you're always enjoying the views. I mean, it really is the sun revolving around our guest, and taking it to just a whole new level. And the best part of it all, which is long overdue since I got here, I said, why are we the last to the party? A ship within a ship concept, because
hmm
we do have clients that love that luxury step up experience with suites and being able to be part of a private lounge, and they want their own private deck area, and they want their own
Yep.
private restaurants. So even though we can do that on our regular ships, it's a part of the dining room, right? So it's sanctuary class, and we're very, very
Yes.
excited. That was announced yesterday too, so everything's hot off the press. What's new, what's next, kind of thing. And every day there's something exciting and new, pardon the pun, but it really is. And it's just been really cool. So Sun Princess, very successful. She's heading here to Fort Lauderdale,
I
to
saw
home
that.
port in October. So very excited about that.
I thought it was interesting your choice of words with that. It's not a refresh, it's that elevated, right? And you see it even in the commercials, right? If you remember the original theme of the Love Boat, right? It's kind of sway, and now it's almost
Well,
got a
that deep,
rock and roll edge to
yeah,
it.
that deep voice he
And
was singing, it felt like Frank
yes,
Sinatra, in the 30s and 40s. No, now it's contemporary. The
yes.
female singer, I mean, her voice is spectacular, but it's very refreshed. And it's not a revolution, it's an evolution of the brand, just taking it to the
hmm
next level. I like to call it today's princess. People don't want me to say that, but I love it because having been on board, I didn't know what to expect. And I had kind of preconceived notions when you think of the Love Boat and you come on
hmm
board, but then you realize, oh my God, what isn't there to do? It brings premium to a whole new level. I can't wait to see the Sun Princess. And then her sister ship, Star Princess, will be with us next fall of 25. So we're really excited about these new ships. That'll bring us up to a fleet of 17. And
Wow.
very, very excited.
Well, and just when you think of, the piazza is something I hear all the time from my clientele. We like ships that have a center. We like them to have a center, and the fact that new ships are being built with other elements, but not replacing that core element, which I think is something that people look forward to when they get on a princess ship. So you mentioned the sanctuary, which I think is just a fantastic ad. You're absolutely right. It speaks to that elevated service, um, accommodations, just that privateness that everyone is seeking these days. I think we've all seen it in the travel agent community. The dome, the Princess Arena, which again, it's so telling when you think of sphere class, right? These are rounded
Beautiful.
elements of the ship. Tell me a little bit about the Princess Arena.
So it's a theater, and just
That's the
imagine
theater.
theater in the
Okay.
round, right? So the Princess
Okay.
arena is just that. It is so flexible. So you can have traditional theater style seating. You can have it in the rounds. Actually, folks are coming from uh, the entertainers. I'm like, God bless them. That's how we introduced Hannah, by the way, our godmother. She was brought, she was risen. It was just so gorgeous. It was absolutely perfect. So there's a lot of entertainment. We also have, like, they mentioned it yesterday, Spellbound. So if you've ever seen Magic
Hmm.
Castle, so this is an exclusive partnership, just like it is with Dario and Romero. This is an exclusive partnership with Magic Castle in LA, which is a members only. Don't think magic in the cheesy format that people think. No, this is up close, personal. It'll wow you. And then Spellbound, it's not just a magic show, even though it is very heavily on that. It is more like an experience because it's culinary, it's beverage, so it's a food and beverage experience for our guests, along with this very up close and personal. And if you've never seen these magicians, it is a wow, because this is not like they're up on a
Wow.
stage and you're wondering, okay, who's doing what, and sleight of hand. They're right in front of you. I mean, like, I could reach out and touch them. It's that intimate of an
Intimate. Hmm.
experience. And like that, we have a lot of other experience. So we have a Cirque de, I always get this wrong when we're up in the dome, because it's a French, it's Cirque Eloise. It's very French, and my French is what it
Okay.
used to be. Cirque de Luz, and it's an exclusive performance, just like you would imagine a Cirque du Soleil, but we can't say Cirque
Hmm.
du Soleil. It's just a different, specifically created for the dome. Just an amazing aerial experience. So those shows, again, we're taking it to a whole new level,
Right.
and it's critical. We needed to, right?
Now let's talk families because we have always known Princess to be family friendly, especially for Alaska. Families love it. But we're not used to seeing play elements, and we're starting to see those. So things like the sea breeze roll glider, the coastal climb, and the splash pad. Like, I was wowed by
Deck
the
19,
renderings I was seeing,
right?
which I just think opens the brand up to not a new audience, but more of an audience.
So it's interesting you should raise that, because I think this is where I had one of those aha moments when I joined, because again, I didn't think of it. Listen, part of our corporation, we have a brand that's dedicated to families, right? And kids
Right.
and fun. And that's the beauty of our positioning, because we really aren't dedicated to just one segment.
Hmm.
And one of the things that shot, and I had kids too, so obviously they've cruised with me since they were like 3, 5 months old. I think they slept through the night on a ship for the first time ever. God bless. I would have stayed on a world cruise with them if they would sleep throughout.
It's
But
the
the thing is,
swaying.
yeah, it is. It was the softness of it. When I think about it and I got here, I realized we are number one in Alaska. I mean, that's what everybody
Mhm.
knows us for. And most people think of Alaska as a one and done, and it is not.
No.
Alaska is a destination. It is so amazingly huge. I'm going there next week. As a matter of fact, I'm on the first Alaska cruise of the season. So it's that shoulder season on Ruby Princess. Very excited to be on. We carry more children in Alaska than any other
Hmm.
cruise line does. And here's the interesting thing, we carry more first to cruise. So not just first timers for our brand, never cruised before. But if they're going to do Alaska, they've heard of the Princess
Hmm.
brand, and they do cruise tours. So you've got lots of
Right.
multi-gen experiences. Now, I'll tell you the other thing is, on all of our ships, we've got amazing kids programs. We do, because we have them typical like everybody else, whether it's spring break, summer. And the thing is, the medallion. So our medallion class
Yeah.
experience is a game changer. And if you've not seen our spot, which is so cute, it's called the Hannah spot. And it's a medallion class. And just imagine two teenagers. She's so cute with her little braces sitting in the jacuzzi. And her mom comes, oh,
Yeah.
Hannah. It's a great spot if you
Oh,
haven't seen it,
yes, with the boy. I
where
just
you
saw
can
it.
track them.
Yes.
Yes. And then
What are
she
you
jumps
doing
right
here?
into,
I'm
yeah,
here.
and I'm exactly where I need to be. And then she jumps in the jacuzzi. Well, that's accessible because of the medallion, app. It's no longer, I'll just look at the, simplicity. This will age me. But I remember traveling with my kids, and I'd have to go to Radio Shack and
Yeah.
rent these little walkie talkies that they wouldn't answer anyways, like 4 Adam 12, Christian, come in. Because I didn't want to schlep all those decks, right? To go get them, Carolyn. So now with the medallion, I wish they had the medallion way back when. You know where they are at all times, right?
Yeah.
Because you are all connected through the app. It opens doors. That's the big one, because it welcomes you. Hi, Carmen. And it turns green, and I can open. So even if you have can you imagine somebody carrying a child, a little baby, and they're fast asleep? Do you really
You're
want to put them
fumbling.
down
Yep.
and No, I'll go an extra mile. My husband loves to demagnetize regular cruise cards, like ship cards. I can't tell you how many times I've had to go downstairs to get another
Yep.
copy of another. I don't have to worry about that now. Even my big child, the husband, is okay because it
Mm,
just opens automatically, and it's just it really allows us with the footprint of our ships, right? We're a premium brand, ships 3,000 guests, 4,300 guests if you think about Sun and Star. It
mhm.
allows that big footprint to have personalized service at scale because of the technology of the medallion class accessibility. You wouldn't have that. So when I joined and I tried it out, by the way, I did go to my room and I ordered a mimosa and then I went up on deck and they followed me there. My best story is my husband. We're on vacation last December with the kids, actually a family reunion. It's 18 of us, all ages from 16 all the way up to, I'm not going to say the eldest, but we're in the gym. He's done with his workout. He's retired, so that's why his life is good, Carolyn, if you know what I mean.
I do.
Wish it was me. I'm a hater, not a motivator. But we finished a gym workout, and he goes on the app and orders a margarita, 24 karat gold margarita, which is like a Rob Floyd, one of our mixologist specials. And this gentleman has shown up at the gym. It was like, are you kidding me? We had to take a picture of it because, like, that is so inappropriate in so many ways. But that just kind of shows that servicing of what the medallion does. And if I think about when I go
Right.
to the International Cafe, they know me by name because I'm popping up and they know it's Carmen. They know my room. By the way, they know that I did a non fat hazelnut latte yesterday. It
Wow.
gives you that. It truly brings it to a whole new level. And it's not about the technology, but it's about what that facilitates in so
Hmm.
many different, ways. If you're doing a family reunion, if you've got small kids, and it all started with your question about kids, and I went 20 minutes to a doorknob. My
No,
apologies.
but it also lends itself to really just elevating the customer experience.
Experience.
And not just the customer service experience, which I think when we have worked so hard to go on vacation, by the time you get there, I just want to feel special.
Agreed. And you
That's,
don't want to have
you
to
know,
whip out another card to have to sign. And, we
yes.
have, as you know, Princess Plus, Princess Premier. I'll go another thing. We have Medallion Pay. Medallion Pay is unique to us because of the medallion. So we've been able
Hmm.
to partner in all of the destinations, whether it's Alaska, the Caribbean, anywhere we are that we've done this agreement. You don't even have to bring your credit card. Whatever credit card is
Yeah.
tied to your onboard account, you can just use your medallion to pay for whatever you're buying, even if it's jewelry. Just imagine that, and you get a 7% onboard credit on the value of whatever you purchase. And you still get whatever
Mm.
miles or loyalty points you're going to get from the credit card company. And it's not like the vendors are upping the price, it's still whatever the price is. It's just this medallion access. And I got to tell you, it's absolutely phenomenal.
Amazing. Fantastic. Um, so I want to chat a little bit. Well, first of all, I noticed this yesterday. Maybe you noticed it as well. On the consumer site, there is a link for the Sun Princess and the Star Princess. And the words are, what were we thinking when we designed the new Sun Princess? And you click here. And I just thought, what a brilliant tag for any sort of a link, because this is always my number one question, right? When new ships come out, I want to know, what were you thinking? Because anyone that's watched this show, we're in our third year, knows that this fascinates me. It's this concept of, how do you start building a ship thinking about all of these things so far before they become really like trends in the industry. Like, that's fascinating to me. And the other thing is to be a fly on the wall when someone's building out the itineraries, like
So,
for 2 years in advance.
yeah.
These two departments fascinate me to no end, because it requires such forward thinking.
And
And I'm
trends.
like, I'm just trying to get through dinner tonight. How is it that you know where a ship's going to be positioned in 2 years? But I just thought that was such a brilliant thing to put on the website. What were we thinking? These are the things that we're thinking about, everything from sustainability to families
With
to
LNG.
what you've loved about ships in the past, what you've asked us to improve. And I just thought it was so brilliant. So send that
So
off to your marketing team, that I thought it was
I'm going to
it was
share
such a
that with them.
fantastic thing.
So
Yeah.
great minds think alike because I had those same exact thoughts when I joined. And Richard Parker, and I have my own Connect with Princess webinar every 2 weeks. One is a travel advisor version, and the other's a consumer one by
Mm-hmm.
popular demand, which is always interesting to me. But I had Richard Parker, who's actually the architect, designer, the concept imagineer of
Mm-hmm.
these Sphere class ships. And remember, the corporation can pick any brand to get a new class of ship. They chose
Right.
us. And this was done during COVID, pre-COVID. It takes 2 to 3 years. So if you probably hear it in the news all the time, the book orders, right? Because there's only so many shipyard slots. And,
Mm-hmm.
you got people ordering ships till 2030, 2032. I mean,
Right.
and so on. So you have to really have a forward concept and try to make sure that whatever you do, that you're listening. And this is the best part of all, listening to your loyal clientels, listen to their feedback. Our elite guests, they want to tell us what's right, what's wrong, what we can do better, what their feedback is. Matter of fact, we announced different dining that we tested on Sun Princess.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to tell you, because of it, we announced that we're going to go with that same dining platform on the rest of the fleet. So I'm sure most have seen it. And it was like, everybody's like, what are you doing? Because we've had to cancel everybody's dining except for, and it's from September 14th, voyages forward, by the way.
Okay.
But if you're in groups, if you have a group, they're untouched. We're protecting the groups. Don't you worry. And the reason this came about is because on Sun Princess, you have the Horizon restaurant, right? It's got 3 levels. Our princess ambassadors, loyalists love traditional dining, main
Mm-hmm.
and late, 5 and 7:30. That's what they want. And when we went this dine my way and flexible dining, we had a lot of grumpy people. So it allowed us with Sun Princess to listen to that feedback and create level one of the restaurant will be traditional dining. You can have the same waiter, the same table every day,
Mm-hmm.
5 o'clock, 7:30. You're happy. The second level is that flexibility. You have to reserve dining times. You can dine at a different time every day with a different waiter, different table. Again, for those who love that flexibility. Then level three is what I called, all day dining open. You can come in
Mm-hmm.
whenever you want. You don't have to get dressed. You don't need reservations. Just come as you will when you want during operating hours. And it has been so well received, again, because the research and data and listening to your loyal
Yeah.
guests that love the brand, they own the brand more than we do, I got to tell you. And they are not shy about sharing with us. I mean, something as little as Sun Princess has shower doors instead of curtains. I mean, that sounds like such a simple thing. And the fact that these rooms, the balcony rooms and all of the rooms have these incredible, couches. I mean, that's important. Cabana suites. I'm booked in one, a mini cabana suite for my vacation in December for New Year's. And I'm hearing from folks that are on that these are revolutionary staterooms with the space. Because you think cabana and you think, oh, sun, but they're covered, air conditioned
Mm-hmm.
control. I could just imagine how huge this is, and I haven't even seen it. So Richard's done a great job. He has to really be advanced. And there will be
Right.
things that'll change on Star, Carolyn, I guarantee you, because there's learnings already
Mm-hmm.
from this ship. And the key is, when you have a ship, a series that's new like this, it's a new class of ship for sure. Anything that follows, you just better it. And then when you talk about
Yep.
itinerary planning, luckily we've got itinerary planning that is looking at trends of what people want. So we've done
Yeah.
a huge, by the way, we're still a global brand. We still do 330 destinations. We do still South America. We still do Australia. We do Japan. I'll be there in July on Diamond. Europe, the Med, absolutely phenomenal. Caribbean, but we have a home port strategy now, which is something that we
Mm-hmm.
never had, right? We've been in Fort Lauderdale forever. 7 ships, half of our fleet is in Florida at some point, right? So, and we have Enchanted Princess doing year-round Caribbean. What a deal this summer. Everybody else is sold out. Guess what? They forgot that we're there as well. And then we've
Wow.
opened up Port Canaveral, Galveston, Boston, New York,
Mm-hmm.
you name it. And then, of course, why? We were a California company, right? We started in LA. We pretty much created the Mexican Riviera itineraries, which are the Love Boat itineraries. So LA is still our staple. You still got San Francisco, you got Seattle, we got all of these home ports. So we're just leaning into it because you mentioned, we got to get to a cruise the day before. Flight
Mm-hmm.
cost, airline
Yes.
cost. We do not control the airlines. I wish we did, because then I wish I had my own airline. That would probably be Princess Air would be phenomenal. We're at their mercy, and let me tell you, fickle, very fickle.
Yeah.
And so we really wanted to make it so there was drive market, and we just announced a partnership with Brightline, the rail and sail program.
Yes.
I was there and I conducted my webinar. I hadn't been on a train since like Amtrak when my son was 2 and he wanted to do a choo-choo train experience to Disney World. And by stop number 4, guess what, Carolyn? We were off and renting a car because my husband's like, not doing this.
This is done. Yeah.
This is Brightline is amazing. It is just fantastic, and it'll allow anybody from Orlando to Fort Lauderdale or Miami, and then but Fort Lauderdale's our ships. We even have a baggage service for $35 a bag. Check it in on the train. It'll be in your stateroom when you get to Fort Lauderdale. And then once we're in Port Canaveral
Wow.
in November, it's the reverse. Again, looking at creative ways. How do we offset the cost of air that we can't control?
Hmm.
And yet we're at their mercy of the airline. So this incredible partnership. I was there in Orlando when we actually unveiled it and they wrapped the train. It was super exciting. Really fun.
That's fantastic. I feel like I need you to come back and have another conversation because I feel like we
My
could
pleasure.
talk all day.
Oh, forever.
Um, but it's been
Absolutely.
so, so fun. And I thank you for taking the time out of your very busy day and for joining us. And we will definitely have you back.
Thank you, Carolyn, and to all of you. Carpe diem, seize the day. There you go. Now everybody's got to watch Dead Poet Society, or go ahead and watch The Devil Wears Prada. Either way, we're good.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Either one, whichever one you're channeling today. Thank you so much. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
Princess Cruise Line so much. All right, you guys. Oh my gosh, I feel like I could talk to her for hours on end because there's just so much to say, and it's such a. We didn't even get to Japan, which is I don't know about you guys, but it's such a hot ticket right now. So perhaps when she comes back in July, we'll have to get her back on to hear how her experience was. All right, you guys. Next up, one of our favorites, Tim Smith from the engagement team here at KHM. He's our sales animal. He's got lots to say when it comes to speaking with our clients. Hi, Tim. How are you?
I'm doing really good, really good.
Good. Well, we both get the chance to talk to a lot of new agents, and I'm always surprised by the amount of pressure that new agents put on themselves to be so successful quickly
Right.
in this industry. And so, as we know, it takes time to develop that, right? Our clientele, our knowledge base, our workflows. So, but you have some strategies for taking some of those negative thoughts away and replacing them with the positives. So tell me more about this.
Well, and you can always help me out in this too. I've kind of developed this over the years. I was an athlete and I would have all these negative thoughts all the time. And then I got into business and things would go wrong. And then I became national sales manager of a company, and that had its own set of challenges. And I just had all these things that would work on me. And I read about this guy. He said, "Don't let the ants eat your brain." And I thought, well, that's pretty interesting. Don't let the ants eat your brain. Well, he came up with this. He was at work. He has a company where he studies the mind. And when he got home that night, in his kitchen, there was food on the counter and it was all covered by ants. And he got to thinking, he deals with all these people that have all these negative thoughts. And so he came up with ants are automatic negative thoughts. And of course, we all get them. I mean, and they tend to just keep eating away at your brain. I mean,
Yes.
you've had things go wrong, right, Carolyn?
Yeah. Every once in a while, something slips through the cracks, or
Yeah.
luckily, I consider myself to be fairly proactive. So I usually catch things before they've gone so far wrong. But absolutely, there are things that don't always go the way you're expecting them to go.
Well, I was just thinking, like, I was in athletics and I was a wrestler, and I would look across the mat and I'd see how big this guy was and how many muscles he's had. And I would like, okay. And the ants would just start eating away at
Yeah.
me. And I said to my coach one time, I said, look at how muscular that guy is. And he goes, Tim, you don't know what you look like. I said, you're probably scaring him. And I went,
Mm.
oh yeah, you're right. So,
Yep.
and then he goes, don't pin him until the third period. I went,
Ah.
okay. Yeah, I'm afraid to wrestle the guy. And my coach is saying, don't pin him until the third period. And I pinned him in the third period. So that strategy worked.
So when we think about our agents and they either let's say they see online they've worked with someone, or maybe they haven't even worked with someone, but people they know are now posting on Facebook this fantastic trip that they took, and either they came to the agent and asked them for advice, but then asked them for quotes and things like that, but didn't book with them, or never gave them the shot to begin with. What are some of your suggestions for alleviating that piece and putting in the
Well,
positive?
people are really good at beating themselves up. Okay. And
Hmm.
that's where these ants come from. They attack your brain. And I always try to tell people these thoughts that you're having are just thoughts. They're not facts. Okay. If you, what I like to do is I like to write them down on a piece of paper. Okay. Something that I'm thinking about, and I write them down on a piece of paper. Like, I've called this person 3 times. They've told me no 3 times. And I think maybe they were just having a bad day.
Mm.
So then I think, okay, I need to write this down on a piece of paper. So I like to write it down on a piece of paper. And then I like to take the paper and crumble it up and stomp on it. And so I'm stomping
Okay.
those
Yeah.
negative thoughts, right? And then I pick up the phone and I call the person, and they're like, Tim, I'm glad you called. I really need to take a trip. And so maybe, I would it if I would have let those ants get to me, then I would have never picked up the phone and called them. But I
Right.
didn't let it get it to me. So I realized wasn't real. It wasn't a fact. Maybe they were just having a bad day the days I called them. And so I just got rid of it that way. And then the other thing I
Interesting.
like to do is I like to surround myself with positive people. Okay. I'll be talking to somebody and they'll be saying something negative, and I go, hey, you see this right here? These are not garbage cans. These are my ears. If you got some
Yeah.
good things you want to talk about, great. If not, I don't want to hear all your negatives. And what happens is ants love to be around negative, okay?
Mhm.
And they don't like to be around positive. And people don't understand what happens in your brain. When you have a negative thought, there's something like 230 chemicals that your brain releases. And those, when you have a negative thought, it releases all these really bad chemicals that can happen to you. I was looking at something there. Every time you have a sad, hopeless, or cranky or unkind thought, your brain immediately releases chemicals that make you feel bad. Your hands
Mm.
get cold, your muscles get tense, your heart beats faster, your breathing's shallow, the activity in the front part of your brain decreases, and the negativity affects your judgment and your learning and your memory. And so, but you know what happens when you have a positive thought? Okay. Just the opposite happens. Positive thought, your brain releases a different set of chemicals. Your hands are warmer, your breathing's deeper, your muscles relax, your blood pressure goes down, and your brain just works better.
Yeah. Well, and I think that you're right. Negativity breeds negativity, and if you can reflect on some of the negatives and think about ways to improve, or yes, you did all this research and someone took it and booked it on their own, but what did you learn from the research? Right? You probably learned something that's
Right.
going to help you the next time someone comes to you and does truly want to book with you. So I think you can always find a bright light in some of these instances, but I think expelling those negative thoughts is what I'm hearing you say is, yes, they're going to be there, but try not to let them eat you.
Well, what I did in the past is I started a list of accomplishments that I've had, awards that I've won, things when I did a presentation and the audience just went crazy. On this last Crystal cruise, some people got up and said all the things that I did that helped them. The training that I did with them, and I write all that down on a paper. And then when things start to go bad, or I'm having this negative loop of ants eating my brain, I get that sheet out and I start reading that. And I'll tell you what, the ants can't stand that. They just go
Right.
scurrying like crazy. And,
Hmm.
those are the positive thoughts. And it's, oxycodone or something that gets released
Yeah.
in your brain when
Yeah. I
you,
hope it's not oxycodone.
yeah, whatever, it's something.
I hope it's not that.
But
um,
anyway, so to finish up, there's also a whole bunch of different species of ants. Okay, and we don't have time to get into them, but
yeah.
some of them are fortune telling, mind reading, guilt beatings, blame, labeling. And if they want to call and set up a coaching session with me, I would love to talk with them. I just got word that I did 26 webinars on sales and different aspects of the things that we're talking about. And this is one of them. They put those all back up in the education channel. So I'm pretty excited about that. So stomp those ants. And the reason why I came up with ants is because you said it was Earth Day or Earth Month this year. And so I thought I'd come up with something to do with the Earth. So the last thing I'll leave them with is 2 caterpillars are crawling across the ground, and this beautiful, majestic butterfly flies over top. And one caterpillar says to the other one, "Man, you'd never get me up on one of those." But they are one of those. And you agents out there, you're going to be these beautiful butterflies flying wherever you want to go and helping all your clients book wonderful trips. It'll all reflect good things back on you.
Wonderful. Tim, thanks so much for being here. We appreciate you.
All right. Well, thanks for having me. See you, everybody.
All right, you guys, thanks so much for joining us today. Thank you to all our sponsors for their continued support of KHM Today. You guys, next week is May Day. It's National Lay Day, and it's National Travel Advisor Day. So be sure to tune in because we have some really special guests with us, and we're going to celebrate with Norwegian Cruise Line. See you all next week. Thanks for being here.